is Gracie. I'm your Wellbeing Officer at the Union, and this is In Your Development Era. This is a student experience podcast with all of our students talking about their experiences, and my first guest today is, drumroll please, Steph. Steph is an amazing person, and Steph is going to tell us all about her experience today.
Thank you very much.
Go, Steph.
I'm Steph. I'm an advertising and brand communication student. I'm just finished my second year, and I'm currently on placement at the Student Union at Monmouth.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give you a big clap. And we definitely didn't predict the same outfit today.
This was not planned.
Typical, New Balance, jeans, black jumpers. It's what we like. So, Steph, tell me a little bit about your experience as a student. Like, where did you start off? How did you start off in that?
So mine was such a weird journey to uni because so before I came to Monmouth, I was actually at another university doing a very, very different course. I actually started off doing radiotherapy. Now I'm doing advertising. Wow. It was a hard one because I thought that was something I really wanted to do because I've always been very creative, very sciencey, and I was like, right, okay, I'll go for science. And then I got there and I had really bad mental health. The course wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And it was just, it just wasn't the vibe. So I ended up actually dropping out at Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, I got a job at Aldi, stayed there for a bit, and I realised a bit after that I just wanted to kind of get back in education. So that's when I looked at Monmouth. I was like, oh my God, advertising?
Oh. Yeah. Do you think having that year out helped you reevaluate your decisions?
100%. I think it was so needed because I went in and I think I was like, right, okay, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh God, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah.
And kind of had a quarter life crisis. At 19, had a quarter life crisis and was like, oh my God, what do I want to do with my life? And it was one of those where I actually thought I might even go back to it, but I just needed that time to be I need to take some time out because especially when my mental health was an all-time low. Before I came to uni, I did an extra year at college doing I did an art foundation year, and I was like, okay, that's my year. I feel good. Let's go. But I already had bad mental health coming to uni, and then it was going far away from home. I just made a really good group of mates away from them, and it was away from all kind of the comforts.
Yeah.
And it was then all of a sudden I was like, oh God, this isn't okay.
Sort of taking yourself out of what you knew made you realise that you needed to take 100%, a break?
Because at first I was like, oh no, I'm ready, let's go. And then I was there and I went, this just isn't what I want.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, because I was like, let's just push through it, let's just do it. And I had a really supportive family, they were amazing. And I kind of spoke to them about the doubts and that, and they were like, well, keep going, let's have a go. And I did, and even then I was like, it doesn't feel right. And I remember my dad and my sister, they were like, maybe you can push through. But I was like, I don't want to push through 3 years of my life to then get to the end and go, I don't want to do anything with this.
Yeah.
So I definitely made the right decision. It was the best thing I ever did.
When you dropped out of uni, how did you feel? Did you feel like you was the only one?
Yeah.
How did you feel in that experience? Did you feel alone with it? Did everyone else look like they was having such a good time and you wasn't? How did that make you feel?
I think this was the one of the things that kind of made me want to drop out more, is that everybody else was so happy with their course. Yeah. And everyone was like, oh yeah, this is definitely for me. And I was sat there going, this isn't for me. Yeah. And I think it was definitely the main thing that ended up keeping me there a bit longer is that I didn't want to disappoint people. And I just didn't want it to be that I just gave up, I didn't try, I just went, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, can't be arsed. And it was definitely I didn't want to disappoint my family. It was then going around telling people, oh, I'm a uni dropout, when really there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in that point, you're going, oh my God, I'm a failure. Which it didn't feel like at all after I felt so much better for doing it.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And what made you feel with that it was right for you? You battled all those thoughts of what are other people going to feel? They're going to feel like a uni dropout. I'm having to tell this and that person. But what made you go, no, I need to do this. This is for me?
I think it was just at the point where my mental health was at an all-time low, where I literally locked myself in the room. I'd allow myself to go out on weekends, and I'd literally wait for going clubbing on a weekend. And that was literally all I lived for. I woke up and was just and I can't wait to go back to sleep, but not in the sense of, oh my God, I can't wait to see my bed again. It was literally I don't want to be awake. I don't want to have to think about any of this. I just want to be asleep, and I don't want to be here right now. Obviously, in the moment, I knew it was wrong, but it was I'd reward myself. Oh, well, I've done all this revision today. I can go out. I can have a shower. It was ridiculous things, which I knew in that moment it was bad. And it was then I took the step to go, I'm not right. And I told my sister, who I'm really close with, friends, and I even rang the doctors being I'm not okay. And even they were this doesn't sound right. And it was that kind of made me go, I've got to do this for me. At the end of the day, I'm not going to stay here in a little pit just because I'm worried about what other people think.
You're so brave for doing that. Honestly, just hearing your story, you're so brave. What with the doctors and stuff, when you rang them, did you find that helped you? Did you receive help from them?
Yeah, so the main thing, I kind of just like blabbed it all to the doctor, this poor doctor on the phone, and I was like half crying. I was like, I don't know what
You made me cry.
And I was literally like, oh my god, I don't know. And she was like, so I think you might have some symptoms of depression. And I was like, oh, okay. And she went, here's some meds. And that was actually kind of it from the doctors.
Okay.
And it was, whilst that's been a massive like step and like to help me, I just need to take myself out of that situation. I did kind of speak to the doctors about it, being like, I'm thinking of dropping out. And they were like, if you need to do that, you do that. I was quite lucky that even like the uni staff were like, if that's what you've got to do, you've got to do it. And it was, I was really lucky that I was so much like support from my family. Even like when my dad was like, oh, do you want to try it again? When I got to that point, he was like, you need to come home. Yeah. And he was literally like, I will drive up and get you myself. And it was,
It helped having a supportive family.
100%. Like without them, I think, don't get me wrong, whilst there was a little bit of like, do you not want to stay? But once I was sure, they were like, do it then. Yeah. Like they were 100%. And there was other worries as well. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I've got to drop out. It was then my accommodation. I still had to pay for that, but I wouldn't have the funding to. So I was going, right, so I'm going to be in debt. It was like all these things building up. I was in such a lucky position though that my mum and dad went, just come home, we will sort it. We'll get you on your feet.
Wow.
I was really lucky for it.
Did you have to pay for the accommodation for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so basically what happened is I was so lucky that my mum and dad went, we'll pay it first, and then when you get back, get a job, you can pay us back, which I did. And I think that was the thing, I didn't want to be a burden on other people. I didn't want to be like, oh God, Steph's dropped out, or my sister's mental, or my daughter's mental, or something like that. But it was nice that I could take the responsibility. Like I came back, I got a job, I worked it off, and I paid my mum and dad back, and that was such like a relief to be like, I've worked.
You've done that, yeah. You've done that for yourself. Do you think with your year in uni and all them thoughts that you had about dropping out, do you think like throughout life, you know, you go through school, you go through primary, secondary school, whatever, through college, having to follow the system as such in terms of how you do it and it's all structured. Did you have that worry as well behind leaving, that it's not what I should be doing right now?
100%. So because I'd already done an extra year on top of college, so I was already technically like a year behind my friends, my like everyone who's in my year. And I was thinking, oh God, like what if I don't go back to uni? And because I think in college it's quite pushed on you to be like, uni, you want to go to uni, and really maybe you don't want to. And I think it's too early at like 17. You're applying to all these things going, oh yeah, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that. If there was one like piece of advice I could give, it's that take the time. Like you don't have to rush it to just go straight into uni, and actually like take the time to be like, what do I actually want like out of this?
Yeah, don't just rush into everything because it's the norm and everyone else is doing it.
Like, when at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your life, it's your experience kind of thing.
Yeah, you are in control of your own destiny. Exactly. And then, so when you took the gap year and you went away from your other university, what made you want to study advertising and branding? Yeah,
so I'd kind of thought whilst I was at Sheffield, I was like looking at other things I could do whilst I was kind of in the midst of everything. And because I've always been a bit of like, I'm quite good at writing, like I've always liked kind of creative things, I kind of came across like marketing and I was like, oh, maybe this is something. And then I dropped out and then I started working at Aldi, and I was really happy there. And for a while I was like, I'm quite happy like staying here for a bit, maybe I'll work my way up the ladder. And then after, it was what I needed in kind of that moment. Like it was just something I could just do. It was physical, I just got on with it. And then after a while, I was just like, this isn't what I want to do. And that's absolutely like no hate to retail staff. Incredible. Like,
yeah, work so many hours.
No, it's absolute respect to them. Like, it's hardcore.
Yeah, it is. And it's the late nights.
Like, I wanted to go back to education. It made me want to actually look for what I wanted to do and like what even like I was interested in kind of thing. And that's what made me want to do it more, that I was like, this is something I really want to do, and I was excited about it kind of thing.
And discovering yourself, you know.
God, yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
You took the year out to look after yourself and put yourself in the right place and find out what it was, because sometimes you don't know what's around the corner. So did you apply for ManMet? How did you apply for ManMet? Did you go through clearing? Or?
Yeah, so I did. I applied for ManMet in the normal way, which I was like, oh God, didn't need any help from uni and stuff. I wrote my personal statement, which was quite funny, going from like, I want to be a radiotherapist to, I want to do advertising and brand communication.
But that's fun.
Oh yeah,
that's
I was
fun.
Like,
it's good to make
it's
changes.
very on brand for me, I think.
Yeah,
I love it. But yeah, it was just in the normal way. And so I was then right, I'm going to commute from home. That was like one of the main reasons I looked at Manchester. I'm going to commute from home. So if I'm still feeling a bit like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to be, because I was really cautious, like after Sheffield. Well, that's where I went. And I was just really cautious after it, being like, I don't want to kind of trigger myself again to go into like a hole of like, oh my God, I don't have anybody again. So then I commuted from home to here.
Commuting. And do you think for you having like your family connections nearby, or even just being able to speak to them, helped a lot?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I think it's just nice. Like, whilst it is difficult commuting, like when you've got like, it's even worse for like to get in for a 9 a.m. and you're going, oh my God, I have to get up at like 6 a.m. or something ridiculous. And you're like, but the fact that after that, and it can be real pain with like trains, like getting home, but then like literally just getting home and like your mum and dad's there. And I'm really lucky that it is like that at home, that I can just be like, oh, thank God I'm home, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like your safe space.
Yeah,
it's like your safe space. So like going into uni for you in your old uni when everything's new, it was almost overwhelming, especially as you wasn't.
It was just everything of like, I already had kind of like mental health
a bit of a
issues.
wobble.
Yeah. And then it was kind of like, oh God, you're there and you're seeing everybody like thriving and being like, oh my God, this is the best, I love this course, and they loved uni and they were so happy, and I was like, I'm not. And it was suddenly like, you did feel really alone, because being like, everyone else was like getting on with the work. I talked to my housemates and they were like, oh, why'd you feel like that? And I was like, I just don't like it. Yeah.
You almost feel like the odd one out, don't you? When
100%.
everyone else, you look at everyone else and you think, yeah, you can all do amazing.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you are, but it's brave of you to do that and make that decision for yourself. And look at you now, you're thriving.
Thriving.
Absolutely
thriving.
Absolutely thriving. I mean, we all have our days, but you're
God,
definitely,
yeah.
oh God,
But
yeah.
this is the thing, like it's nothing like how it used to be, and I still say like dropping out was the best thing I ever did for myself.
So was the turning point for you when you made that decision to drop out?
Yeah, 100%. I think it was I realised, so like my dad and my sister, they were like, well, we pushed through our degrees, we didn't like them, but we just kind of went through it. That was like at the point where I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel. And it was that I realised, I was like, I need to enjoy what I do. Like, I can't just be like push through kind of 3 years, oh yeah, I'll just do it. I was like, no, I actually want to enjoy what I do and like have a passion for it. And whilst like the degree I was doing, it was good and I was interested, I was like, this just isn't what I want to do. And I couldn't see myself in it.
And you couldn't see yourself.
And it was that then where I was like, I need to do something for myself and just put it on hold kind of thing.
You need to find something for yourself. Like almost find, I know it sounds cliche, but you need to find yourself to enjoy what you're doing and be in the right place. I think your body knows when something's not right.
Yeah, well, straight away, like your body rejected it. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it did. And you've done so well in getting here. When you came to Met, did you find it easier to like meet people on your course, or how was when you arrived here after leaving university? How was your experience when you arrived here?
I think because I came a bit older, I want to say older, how old was I? I was 20 at the time. Yeah. And I think because I had that experience at Aldi at working and stuff like that, I was a lot more confident kind of just going up to people and being like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
Or like, it was still good because we still had like all the course chats and stuff like that. So I've made some incredible friends on my course, which they're going to be like absolutely like for life. And I think I felt more confident just being like, I'll just go up and talk to people. Yeah. Or I know it's just over time. You're not going to meet, everybody in like one day and stuff like that. And
I think you having that experience before, did that give you like knowing, oh, actually it's okay to go up to people
100%,
and it's okay
because you're not going in like, even though I was a fresher, I was like, I'm not a fresher.
Yeah,
that's what it
I've done this
like.
Before. I've got this.
I was like, guys, don't worry, I'm here. Don't worry.
This. So, do you think like the biggest part then of making connections and stuff like that is confidence? It's being confident.
I think it's just not caring what other people think, and in a sense of like, obviously, like, don't get me wrong, I can't just naturally go up to somebody like randomly and be like, hi, like I can't,
like we did.
yeah, literally. Like I can't just like, you know what I mean, in a random crowd be like, friend.
you know what I mean? Now.
But it's just having the confidence to do what other people want to do kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like everybody feels the same. Nobody knows each other.
Yeah.
And everybody is probably thinking, I should probably go talk to someone. I should probably like go up to someone. And it's just being able to be like, if somebody is like, oh my God, that's embarrassing, to be like, why? Like,
we're all in the same position.
Yeah,
like,
literally. And also just being like, well, I didn't think it was. I thought it was the right thing to do. Kind of.
Do you think it's a myth that you make your lifelong friends in the first week? Because
to be fair, I have made a lifelong friend in the first week, and it really winds me up. So I can't really say that.
I think it,
but it's so over time. Like I then met friends the year after, in the beginning of my second year, who I'm really good mates with, or I'm still friends with some people from my first uni, and I met them in October. And sometimes it's just I think I struggled as well that I didn't meet my people in my flat. I was good mates with them. I was mates with people across the hall, but they weren't like your people.
Yeah.
And through that, it would have been, I just wish I got myself to join more societies and do more. But at that point, I was in that kind of like mental headspace where I was like, I can't do anything.
No, you can't. And it was such a big jump for you to leave and then come back and be
100%.
commuting as well. Do you think commuting played a part in making connections?
Yeah, definitely. I think whilst I do love commuting, like I still have a lot of friends at home who they're back from uni now, so I'm like thriving. But like it's definitely one of those where I'm like, everyone's like, oh, do you want to go after? And I go, I've got to get my train.
Yeah.
Oh, my last train's at 11.
Yeah.
Can't do much. Or like societies or sports and stuff like that. Obviously, if they're at Platt Lane, I get the train at Oxford Road. It's another half an hour on my journey getting home. And then I have to get a bus from the train station, and it does add up. So there is bits like that where you go, it does kind of like reduce it a bit, but it makes you put in the effort with your course mates, which I thought that's why I was more active in being like, friends? Yes.
Friends, me and you.
Give me your Snapchat. Like, yeah. So it did make me work for it a bit more.
We have a lot of commuting students here, as you know, you're one. What advice would you give to commuting students that I'm potentially at a point where they're struggling to make friends, or saying to them, is this for me? What advice would you give to them?
I think it's definitely, you have to put the effort in with your course mates. Like, they're the people you're going to see most of the time. Yeah. Or even just kind of look at societies or sports that work around your timetable. Because a lot of the time I'd be like, well, I don't want to go in just for, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd come in for a 2-hour lecture and then I'd be like, all right, I've got to go home now. If you can go to something which works in your timetable and you're not having to spend more money on trains or stuff like that, or it's even just kind of, there's so many societies at the union, sports, it can be hard, but there might be stuff which is a lot more local, or even going to social sports at the gym.
MMA sport? At Sugden.
Yeah, and looking at the timetable for that and being like, okay, these are social sports. They're not competitive. Yeah. You don't have to go every week, or you don't have to pay for them because they're free.
No, that's very true. Even starting a society. Starting a society. Sometimes
that's how you meet your people, through starting
a society. Yeah. Well, I found 400 of them apparently. It's hard when you feel different to everyone else. Yeah. You immediately arrive here, you leave your family, and you feel different from everyone else. But actually, we're all the same. We've all got a story to tell. And then, obviously, now you're on a placement. I know. Amazing. Congratulations, Steph. Let's give another round of applause, please. Thank you very much. How did you discover a placement? How did you think it was right for you? Was it a journey of personal development that you was like, I don't just need... Because obviously, you've taken that gap year in college, so... And then took another year, and now you take another year for yourself. Like, what made you go, no, I need to do this for my own personal development?
I think coming out of my original degree, I was like, if I'm going to do something, like I'm going to be the best at it kind of thing. Like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it for myself and I want to do it right. Yeah. And I think when I was looking at courses and I saw advertising in Brancom, and I saw straight away that it was a placement. I went, right, I'm doing a placement. And it was like literally from the initial, I was like, I'm going to get a placement. And I was aware that like it's really hard, like not many people can get them. It's really competitive. But I was like, I'm getting one. And it really was one of those. I was like, I'm getting one.
You manifested it. You was going to get that.
I was like spoiled child, and I was like, I'm getting one anyway. And like I came on, and straight away, I think because I'd taken the time out and was already like, right, I'm gonna do well at this. I'm gonna be great at this. Like I'm gonna put the effort in. And like from the get go, I was like, right, how can I get involved? How can I get involved more in course? And like straight away I was like chatting to my main lecturer, and she was like, we can do this, you can be a course rep. Discovering a placement, it was really good because in the first week they mentioned about it and were like, you don't need to worry about it first year, but think about it before you go to second year. And it was stuff like that where straight away I was looking and like, get your CV sorted and
And it was almost getting you excited. And I suppose like, do you think going from that really low moment in your life when you first had an experience of a university to then go in there, that must have been crazy for you? That must have been like, wow, I've come so far.
I think I was kind of stubborn in the fact where I was like, I'm gonna make it good either way. Like I was like, well, I don't really want to have to drop out again, so okay, let's do it.
You've been at that point, so let's just do what I can do.
I was kind of like, and if I really hate it and I'm in the same position, I drop out again. Like there's no limit on it at the end of the day. If it's right for you, it's right for you.
Yeah. And there's no limit on your life. You can decide what you do with it.
It makes us a great backstory. Like now I can be like, I didn't just go in from college, actually. Like, I don't know.
You've got that resilience. You've got a story behind you.
100%,
Yeah. And I think that's the key, isn't it? Being resilient to challenges that you face. Yeah, I faced it. It's shit.
Yeah.
I've overcome it.
And, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not that... now I can be like, yeah, I did that. But in the moment, it was awful. Like, it was so hard. But I think it's coming away from that and going, I fucking did that.
Yeah, I did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
And, like, it's having that pride in yourself and knowing, I could do that.
When you look back, was there a moment in that turning point where you went, this isn't for me? Or was there a moment you was like, this isn't for me, but I'm going to come out of it?
I think it was when I first started kind of doubting the course. So it was probably like October, like wobble week. Wobble week. And it was then I was kind of going, do I want to do this as a job? And it was then, and then even after that, I started like looking, and it still comes up now in like Snapchat memories, and it'd be like, already thinking of stopping my course. And I'll look now and I go, yeah, do it. And it was probably then, and it was even then I started actually looking at marketing. That's why I ended up going back to it and fell into advertising.
And when you came here. Yeah. That's great, Steph. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. I've really appreciated it. It's inspiring to hear your resilience throughout your journey. And I think one of the key points I've taken away is it's okay to change.
It's so okay to change.
It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change.
Take out as many years you want.
Yeah. Like, it's okay to change your mind and even change courses, or it's okay to join a new society because you've been in the same one for so long.
Literally,
and don't feel like
it's so fine to just start over.
Yeah.
Start over and be like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's one of those where if you've put the effort in, it's still not working. It's okay. Like, you don't have to force yourself to do something where you're like, oh God, I'm gonna have to do this. Like, it's literally cringe, but you really do only live once.
Yeah.
What's the point of putting yourself through a degree or through something which you hate?
And why are you going to do the same thing that everyone else is doing if it's making you unhappy?
Exactly.
Like the same thing your friends are doing. Oh, they've joined that. I'm going to do. I think. And at the end of the day, you come to university for you. And if it's not right for you or something needs to change or you need to find something else, that's okay to do.
And also at the end of the day, it's your money.
It's your money.
It's your money, babe.
It's your money. It's your degree. You've got this.
That is your student debt.
And you definitely have got this. And Steph, if there's anything now, looking back, that you could tell your past self, what would it be?
I think it'd just be do it for yourself, or take time to really think about like what do you actually want, like from life, kind of like from what kind of career do you want it so you're in a hospital, or and it was just kind of not letting other people's opinions get in the way of your own, and because at the end of the day you know yourself best. And that you can sense when something isn't right, and just listen to your gut. That's kind of the main thing.
Listen to your body, listen to your soul, listen to your soul. When you look back at your past self now, do you just want to give her like the biggest hug?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I half want to go get a great woman, but also like, yeah, absolutely. She just needed a big fat hug and being like, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. And look, you're here. It's so fine. It was so fine. And do you think that it's important to think far in advance about what you want? Like when we talk about life, people go, I'm just going to do a degree because I've got nothing else to do and all my friends are doing it.
I think it's a mix of, this is the thing, because I had like my little like breakdown and I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. You're 19.
You're 19.
Nobody knows what they're doing with the life. Like, so very few people know from an early age what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And so many people actually don't use the degree for the job that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember talking to my dad about this, and he was like, I know loads of people who's got a degree in geography, geology, and they don't do that. That is no hate against geology and geographers, by the way. Thank you very much. Love you all.
Love you all.
But it was just being like, it's okay. You do not have to have your whole life planned. You don't, like, even coming out of uni, if you've got another degree, you can use it for other things, or there's other paths you can go down, and maybe it takes you a bit longer to get the best job in the world, but you did it your way.
You'll get there. And I think the key part is to just always be happy in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Always be happy. And if you need to take that, like every day ain't going to be happy, but if you need to take a break, it's okay to do that. And it's okay to do that. Well, thank you, Steph. Thank you for sharing your story with me. You've been amazing. Let me give you a hug. Let me give you a hug. Oh, and you're going to go places. And I think key takeaway from this conversation is to just be you.
Just be you.
Just be you. And
You
do
do
it for
you.
yourself. Yeah. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else but yourself. 100%. Thank you, Steph. Congratulations.